Dum, 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 dum. Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Michael Knight, a young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Yo, what's up? How's it going? 4 people. I'm just gonna wait till more people show up. All right. So I'm just gonna play some music until we got more people on. All right. So just be here, enjoy the show. This is like 80s electronic music. Yes, it's like the theme songs of different shows that were big in the 80s, produced in the 80s. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So I'm gonna start talking about today's topic very soon. Okay. So let's just wait for people to show up. And in the meantime, I'm gonna play some music. 6, 3, 8. Amazing income says hello. Let's go. Just gonna give it a little bit until we start. Until then, some music.
You wanna know what to say? The narcissist, better watch yourself. You wanna know what to say? The narcissist, you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself. Moving my things around and getting no states can't need a break, can't try to break, but strike it down. It's like stranger at a key came inside my mind. And moving my things around, they get no states, can't need a break, can't try to break, let's psych it down. Your mouth feels so wax, and your heart's feel like I'm fair, feel like I'm fair. Your mouth feels so wax, and your heart's feel like I'm fair, feel like I'm fair. You wanna know what to say? Narcissist, you better watch yourself. Wanna know what to say? Narcissist, you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself. Better watch yourself. Love is evil, heart is confidence, heroes are soul, citizens here. Love is evil, God is confidence, heroes are soul, citizens here. Love is evil, God is confidence, heroes are soul, citizens here. Love is evil, God is confidence, heroes are soul, citizens here.
You can become an active player on the other side, in the subtle realms, in the unseen. You can align yourself with forces like that. You can even command these forces. This is how fucking powerful you are. I'm trying to empower you. You guys have a potential. And you haven't began to tap in, understand this rebellion and operation.
Nothing is really what it seems. You should have listened when they told you life is just a dream. Experience is like the world through everything it brings. I'm not a god, I'm not a king. No, I am not a human being. No. I see they stuck inside their egos. And float on water like a speedboat. I couldn't say that I don't need those. I'm real little surfing like I found a fucking cheat code. See, life's a game of energy. Bring blessings to my family and the worst up to my enemies. Break the Kundalini blocks, releasing that they feeling me. Bring light where it was dark and now they thinking about killing me. Cause the power is real and the order is still taking over the field. Ain't nobody out of my reach, I'm doing I can get still. My energy body is strong, can't overpower my will. And that's fact, been trained by the greatest, Arabia is so fast. Changing the world forever, the world better be ready. Cause the grill of the serpent, the order is legendary.
Die große Nummer zu einer Zahl hinterm Komma brechen. Meinen Sie, das Sonnenlicht, das kommt, wie es kommt, also komm mir nicht. Wenn du verstehst, denn du verstehst hoffentlich, dass du nicht verstehst, was meine Sorgen sind. Heute in seinem Rausch wird der Teufel auf ihn ein, lässt die Lebenszeit vorbei in einem eingerollten Schein. Jeden Tag bete ich, er kommt sauber wieder rein und auf eine kalte Engel gibt ihn wieder frei. Mein Bruder war ein guter Junge mit dem herzerbrechenden Fleck. Er kam zum Gangster-Scheiß und kämpft für das Gesetz. Aber Liebe für die Gang, leider auch für schnelles Geld und mit dem Licht auf die Motten und fressen mein letztes Hemd. Auch im Sommer sind die Nächte für ihn weiß. Beide Hände kalt vom Schweiß, nach gefüllten 18 kommt die Maske aufs Gesicht, Wohnungstüren brechen ein. Beute wird getauscht gegen Beute von mir. Bruder ist so high, mein Bruder hat den weißen Teufel flüstern. Nein, mein Bruder jagt schon wieder dicker. Nein, geht mein Bruder leider sicher. Wen beschützt man trotzdem Geschwister? Mein Bruder ist so high, mein Bruder hat den weißen Teufel flüstern. Nein, mein Bruder ist geblendet von den Lichtern. Ich weiß, auch mein Bruder schreibt sein Schicksal, doch wen liebt man trotzdem Geschwister?
Wie all der Frust von den Schultern. Ich wusste immer schon, man muss nur Geduld haben. Ihr wollt's nicht glauben, aber ja, wir verstehen uns. Ihr habt ein Problem, Jungs. Wie wollt ihr uns...
Okay, so let's begin. Let's begin. More people are going to show up. No worries about that. So, Saturday Night Gender Fight can only start once we get around 20 people on. All right. So, if you know anyone, if you know people, bring them on here. Okay. Let them know to show up. Because, well, you want your gender to win, obviously, right? Okay. So until then, I'm just going to take some questions and talk about different topics. Okay. I'm going to talk about. Well, first of all, of course, your questions have priority. All right. So, how's it going, Jasmine? So your questions have priority, obviously, right? So if you have any questions, just post them here. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about what interests me. Okay. I'm going to give you a minute or two to come up with a question. All right. But like I said, guys, I'm going to stop teaching witchcraft. All right. However, witchcraft only, that entails, the typical witchy stuff, right? Like the tarot cards, the evocations and all that stuff, right? Now, if you've been following me, if you learn my stuff, you already know how to do that, all right? So it's all about application. But what I still can teach you is how to unlock true secrets of the mind, all right? Now, here's your problem. In fact, this is the problem that humanity faces as a whole. It's not just you, it's everybody. Most people, I would say 99.99999% of the people don't know how to control their minds. That is the root cause of any problem. Controlling your mind means not just to direct the where your thoughts go. All right. So I want to think about this, think about that. Now, most people already struggle with that, right? But it is more than that. This mind that you have is absolutely incredible. It is way more powerful than you could ever believe. So there are ways to unlock the secret powers that you know deep down. You always knew that you had secret powers in your mind. Okay, people will call that telepathy. People will call that precognition. People will call that like astral traveling. People will call that fucking remote viewing, right? Lucid dreaming. All of these things of the mind. All of these powers. The ability to take energy and to direct energy and to have things come to you and happen on your behalf. All of those are secret abilities that you can unlock. You just need someone who shows you how to do that. You know? And well, of course, I'm going to continue teaching that. Right? I'm going to continue teaching that. That's what because people ask that. Like, are you going to stop teaching about how to create things and how to bring things to you? No, no. Your mind is literally like a radio, right? So it resonates and it can bring things. It can also attract things. It can direct things, right? So all you got to learn is how to use the radio dial. How do you use the radio dial to bring you things that you want, right? Big deal, big deal. You're definitely going to learn that. So you're all ready. Absolutely. Everybody here is ready. Everybody here is ready. The women won twice already. Okay, it's just a matter of time until enough people show up so we can start Saturday Night Gender Fight. Just a matter of time. Now, we live in an environment, unfortunately, where how do I put it? The things that you want to do, you can't really do for the most part, at least not on this platform. So you got to change the message. You got to change the framework. And for that, new training courses are going to come out. A whole new thing. This whole channel is going to be reframed. At that point, I can also grow it because I have not been able to grow it since I was talking about subjects that were not in alignment with with what the platform wants. All right? We're going to change that. So Saturday Night Gender Fight. One second. What does the platform want from you? The platform has a whole bunch of factors. Okay, now number one, the platform, for instance, doesn't want you to cuss. All right, so if you say "fuck" on your videos or use any kind of profanity, you're gonna have a problem. Okay, nobody knows exactly what rules are used. Okay, but generally speaking, subjects like this are not. They're not supported, if that makes sense. Okay, they're not supported. Now, what does the platform want from us? The platform from not just me. The platform wants entertainment. Bullshit. Bullshit. When we manifesting big things, maybe a relationship with a specific person or getting a certain job, are we also shifting into another reality? Or are we shifting our internal energies to match that frequency? What, regardless of what you do, I mean, it doesn't make a difference. Whether if it's one thing or another, you're still doing the same thing. So there's no certain way of answering that. Both of those are just different models to explain it. It literally has no effect on what you do as you're bringing these things to you. You see? So I would just not care about that. Whatever works for you. Some people have an easier time seeing it like jumping from reality to another. Other people, I mean, what's that called? That's like reality transurfing, I think. Some people see it like that. Other people would consider, manipulating the current reality as a better way of looking at it. And both of those work. Both of those work. My own analytics are crazy. People just want haul videos as opposed to actual work. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, but this is a common problem. The content is not that important. People don't really need to learn things in order for it to be good content. People want to be entertained. Let's be honest, most people don't want to know things. Most people don't want to learn. Most people want to be entertained. If you take a video that teaches you teaches you serious skills, right, versus a video where somebody throws up, you will see a massive difference in the engagement. Okay, in order to go viral, you really gotta be super controversial, and it has to be easily consumable. All right, that's how you go viral. That's how you build a big audience. It's got to be easy to consume. Okay, I'm not hating on anyone who does that. That's okay. Right? But if you go into depth with topics and stuff like that, it's very hard to go viral for the most part. You see. Or it's not impossible, but you need a big budget behind you. Also, my channel has not been extremely organized. I've been working on other things for the most part. Okay, this is Braille of the Serpent was more like a hobby. When I had time, I would just sit down and produce things, but there wasn't really a big structure behind it. Now that's going to change, of course, and that should fix the numbers a lot. Okay, I love trying to study and understanding the algorithms in social media. It's like a new form of modern witchcraft. In my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I agree. A lot of technology out there is like modern witchcraft. For sure, you're right. Social media is also such a powerful tool to sculpt and weave perceptions. There definitely can be benevolent and a malevolent side to it. Yeah. Um, yeah, but I mean, you're right. You're right. Um, benevolent and malevolent. At the end of the day, it's all about energy, right? That's really what things are about, right? What is really going on is a battle for energy and attention, right? So it's about, creating a brand really means that you feed off of the people that give the brand the energy. Really. That's what it means. And it's a battle for attention, and attention is energy. There's one constant in this world where everything is battling for energy, right? The world is controlled by resources. Let's be honest, all right? Even if you look at the most, primitive societies, it's all about resources, right? Resources are just condensed energy. Why, like when you go on social media, it's about likes. Likes are attention, right? So it's about like energy. People compete for attention. So that's really it. That's the whole thing, right? So the perfect way to create a brand, I would say, if somebody would want to do that, that's actually a vampiric egregore. Okay, if you want if you want to make your brand grow and you have no problems with that, like ethically, create an egregore that is vampiric and put it out there. And ideally, it's an egregore that feeds of other egregores. So at that point, you're basically taking the energy of all like other brands that it interacts with and grow your own. That'd be pretty powerful. You know, somebody should create that. Um, hold on. That's a cool idea. Yeah. Do you have a YouTube channel, Jasmine Ambrosia? Why don't you post it here? Let us know your YouTube channel. Everybody here, subscribe to our YouTube channel. New subscribers, okay. Sounds awesome. We'll definitely experiment. Yeah, why not? Just don't let it mess with you. right? Okay, so do you have any egregories gone bad stories? I do actually. Yes, I do. I do. Friend of mine created one, had created one, um, and it started messing with his life and with his circumstances. Absolutely. Now, me personally, no. My servitors and egregories never have worked against me, but that's always because I put a kill switch into it. Like when I create one, I program it with a kill switch, so I know exactly how to get rid of it. You know, and I never had problems personally, but I had no people who had problems with their egregores. So now there's something else that I could tell you about an egregore where they I'm gonna I'm gonna keep it as vague as I can, all right? Because once again, this is YouTube. I can't really say everything here, right? But let's keep it as vague as I can and still get the message across. Okay. So there were this couple, all right? They were magicians, like they were a couple, man and husband and wife, and they were magicians and they had a rented apartment, right? Now they got in trouble with the landlord. He started messing with them because he wanted to sell the apartment and get rid of them, but he couldn't because there was a lease, blah blah blah, right? So he would terrorize them in all kinds of different ways, right? Um, Up to the point where he would just get into the apartment. He would just get into the apartment without telling them anything, and then like just causing havoc. It was basically psychological terror, right? Like how who like you're a couple and some like your landlord just opens the door when you're not there and moves into your place and moves shit around, right? That's a serious violation of privacy, right? Now, then they created a servitor to hurt the person, to hurt the guy, to hurt the landlord, right? Now, the intention behind the servitor, mind you, was to hurt the landlord in the worst way possible. Yeah. So they wanted to hurt the landlord in the worst way possible. So they came together for weeks and weeks and weeks. They were feeding that egregore or that servitor. And then they released it. Results, the son of the landlord got into an accident with really bad consequences. Yeah. Is that a success or not? Because remember, the servitor was created for the purpose of hurting the landlord in the worst way possible. So you tell me, it's his son. So likely it's worse for him if the son gets hurt rather than he himself, right? If he loves his child, he would rather suffer himself than see his son suffer, right? Or his child suffer. So you get what I mean? Um, is that a success? I guess from a magical perspective, it's a success. But that also shows you that you have to be extremely specific with with the purpose that you give those things. It's also when people contact spirits, specifically demons, they're not really specific with what they want, and their communication is just not very good, which leaves the door open for all kinds of trickery. Like you're dealing with a demon. Like, what are you expecting? What are you expecting? Of course, it's gonna fuck you over any corner it can. You see what I mean? So you have to be extremely specific in what you do. You know. Besides that, like specifically demons, they test you in any way they can, all the time. They know exactly what your weaknesses are. Remember, they interact directly with your mind, so you know every single weakness. Every single weakness. So if you are not really solid, um, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to work with them. But here's the benefit: when you work with those spirits and you are actually able to like impose your will or get into a working relationship with those creatures, Do you think people or human beings are still going to intimidate you? Absolutely not. You will also develop a certain presence. You will have a presence about you that people can feel. It's like I've been with the wolves. You get what I mean? I've been with the wolves. I've been with not just the wolves. I've been with demons. I've been with actual demons. You know. So you're gonna scare me now? You know, absolutely not. So um, all right. Frank, I was listening to a previous lecture, and thank you for saying we need to have control over our mundane life and to have discipline in order to advance spiritually. A lot of people don't say that. Yeah, thank you. Because a lot of people are full of shit. A lot of people are idiots. Do you have a Patreon? No, I do not have a Patreon. I do not have a Patreon. Maybe in the future, I'm gonna I'm gonna have one, but not right now. What constitutes as a big dream? Does it have to encompass the world? How much does that limit what you're able to attract? Let me read that again. What constitutes as a big dream? Does it have to encompass the world? How much does that limit what you're able to attract? Um, Look, the universe is a game of energy, right? It's a game of energy. And everything in the game is competing for energy, right? That's why everything has its phase, but it never can, there will never be an end to this game. Okay? So this means that nobody can absolutely win. You can never be the complete, an absolute winner in whatever game you're involved with, because at that point the game would stop. All right. So everyone has his hype. Everyone has his heyday. Everyone has his biggest day, and then they will fall off eventually. It's always like that. Okay. So people get hyped, and then they go down again. What is that? What are you seeing there? You see the amount of energy. They're like a bright star, and then they lose that more or less, right? So when you're saying is your goal should constitute the whole world, that wouldn't work, because at that point you would remain the only player, right? Or I'll put it like this. I guess you're asking me for your purpose, right? Or what should be your purpose? I mean, it should in one way or another affect the whole world. It should serve the world. It should make it a better place. You know, the more it serves the whole, the better. It is essentially it can have selfish aspects to it, but when your purpose comes to fruition, the conditions for the world, for other people, should improve. You know, that's basically the guideline I can give you. As long as you keep your focus on that, you, I think, are good. Personally, I kind of view a lot of those demons as actually our pre-Islamic gods that have become demonized by these imams. Gods of the Fertile Crescent. Yeah, I know there are theories like that out there. Patreon is cool because you don't have to filter anything. Okay. Bad dogs are like terrible toddlers. Yeah, I'm sure. It's like years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I invoked an incubus from a book and I didn't know it. It seems a bit hostile. Years later, it found me in the astral plane. This time it was stronger, wanted my energy, and I did something so it would leave me alone. Never again. Cool. Cool. All right. more and more people are coming on. We need 20 people to start Saturday Night Gender Fights. All right, and I want to see a dirty fight tonight. Let's see a dirty fight. Yeah. Invoke an incubus from the book. Okay. Well, I really don't see a reason for the invocation of an incubus. I feel like really succubus, incubus. I don't know. Like it's like, why would you voluntarily infect yourself with something that is a vampiric entity? I really don't see a go. Listen, there's all of this stuff that was put out there by, like a lot of stuff that was put out there by Become a Living God, because I think they put that out there like a love relationship with an incubus. Like what? Right? It's like a lot of this. I don't know. I mean, there's a reason why I stopped my association with that company and that channel, because a lot of stuff that they were doing was like, to me personally, I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, remove the chakras from your body. Like what? You know. And the problem is that people have their education about the occult for the most part from the stuff that they were putting out there, because they are like, their marketing was the most aggressive. Mind you, most occultism is underground. Most occult orders keep their stuff really, really secret, you know. And something like spirituality is extremely hard to put out there in an authentic format, because you cannot consume occultism or esoteric knowledge. You gotta actually immerse yourself in it, and the knowledge will like change you, will transform you. It's like a wisdom thing, you know. You know, I mean, just constantly pushing the most like outrageous stuff, and all another deep dark demon from hell, and the darkest lord of this and this, and another dark lord of this, and like it's all about like sexual depravity, and you know, doing evil, and a power trip. That is, I don't know. You get what I mean? When Amazon falls as a part of the cycle, will it morph into something new like Facebook changed into Meta, or die out altogether? When Amazon falls okay, I see what you mean. When Amazon falls as part of a cycle, will it morph into something new like Facebook changed into Meta, or die out altogether? Well, okay, when you look at the life cycle of those things, there will be usually some sort of a disruption happening. So a new technology will just come about. All right. So right now, Amazon dominates e-commerce. Okay. So there is a technological improvement required for Amazon to lose its market share. Right. So big companies, monopolists, are always removed when a new technology emerges, right? In this Amazon is pretty strong. They have a lot of economic moats, meaning like it's super hard to compete with them, right? Because they have all this distribution network and other things, right? Now, what could happen is a new technological advancement that makes these distribution channels obsolete, so people don't need them anymore. At that point, Amazon would have a big problem, and you know, who knows what technologies are awaiting us? But um, who knows what happens? I would say the biggest economic moat that Amazon has is its platform and network effects. Okay? So, like I said, distribution, network effect, and platform effect. And when those things become obsolete, you don't need those anymore. Then at that point, Amazon's going to have a big problem, and it's happened every single time in history, and it will happen again. You know, I'm happy you taught us to go slow and to learn the basics and build up to the advanced stuff later, because you saved a lot of people's lives. A lot of lives have been destroyed by not knowing what they was doing. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for acknowledging that. I'm sure that is true. Facebook Meta invited me to opt into their monetization program, which I didn't even know was a thing. I think Facebook already sells our identities in a way, so might as well make a cut. Yeah. Yeah. Monetization program. Are you talking about Facebook ads? That's interesting.
Here, honestly and transparently, and say,
Oops. All right. So, Saturday Night Gender Fight is going to happen soon once we got 20 people on, right? No, when your channel gets monetized, you get paid. Where are all the alpha males? Okay, alpha males. I think Facebook is really trying to compete with TikTok. Okay, interesting. Come on. Yeah, we need a couple more people here. Okay. Couple more people. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, do you have any other topics that you want to talk about? Monetization of content, Instagram as well as monetization. Okay. I think Facebook is really trying to compete with TikTok. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, all of this stuff is really, really important. You should definitely, like, I think knowing about this stuff is extremely important and also implementing it, obviously. But you know, the brand factor is extremely important. Right? Now, here's how I see it. Okay, so here's my plan. Right, like obviously, I'm changing the brand right now. I'm not gonna be. Listen, I have a message that I want to put out there, and I want to put it out there at scale. Right, I want to put it out there at scale. But in this format, it's not possible. Meaning through witchcraft and magic. Right. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm doing right now. I shouldn't reveal the whole plan to you, which I'm not going to do that, right? But I have a plan that spreads over the next 3-4 years. Okay, the next 3-4 years, it's going to look like this. So the first thing is I gotta essentially disassociate from magic. I gotta get rid of that because my message and what I have to teach and all that stuff is never gonna be able to go mainstream as long as it's connected to black magic. It's important. It's impossible to do that, right? So I have to disconnect from that. Now, in the meantime, companies are being bought and companies are being built that will create a certain infrastructure, right? Now, it is my opinion that within 5 years, we're going to be in an environment where it is literally impossible to compete unless, and when I say compete, I'm talking about at a high level, unless you have an actual media company that is in house, that you own, that produces your content, edits your content, is with you, photographers, video people, all of that stuff has to be like in house. Okay, so there must be a set of different companies that handle different things, and one of those companies for your personal brand must be solely dedicated to creating content for you, managing your accounts, and many other things. That is what anybody who wants to stay relevant will need to an extent. All right, so this is my plan, and then I can go viral and can do these things at scale. That's a plan that will spread out over the next 3 to 4 years. And well, you're going to see me, absolutely. But you need an actual media company to make things happen for you. And when I say media company, it doesn't mean like you need 100 employees for that. No, but you need a certain set of people that work for you full time, only there to create content for you. When I say content, basically edit your videos, like photographers, videographers, high quality stuff. That's the real game. At that point, you can definitely go viral, and that is what I'm going to do. Definitely not with this channel. Like, how would somebody who openly talks about working with demons go viral and not be what's the word? Like, it's impossible to go mainstream with that. And it's not about being canceled or anything. That's not the problem. The problem is that the message is not going to be heard. You know what I mean? The message is not going to be heard because most people, like, they hear magic. There's something that turns off. They're not going to even listen to me. So, Frank, how would someone become a better listener and to communicate better in relationships? How would someone become a better listener? How would you become a better listener? You have to understand human psychology. That's what you have to do. Listen, okay, here's what I think. Listen. First of all, you have to understand the true nature of the mind. You have to understand the true nature of people. And then you will not be gaslighted because people will never tell you what they actually think. Because for the most part, they're not even aware of why they think what they think or why they feel what they feel. They will just give you a bullshit story. And it's not because they necessarily want to lie to you or anything. They're not even aware of the real instinctual triggers or their real instinctual processes that are going on that make them come to a certain decision. You get what I mean? So when you listen, you have to listen but you have to essentially be able to read between the lines. You have to hear what is not being said. Yeah, and that happens when you understand human nature very, very well. How do you understand human nature very, very well? You gotta have a lot of experiences with people. And what is human nature? Human nature is very selfish for the most part. Okay. There will be a point where someone is so safe with their living circumstances that they can develop altruistic tendencies. All right. But generally speaking, people are like 90% selfish, 10% altruistic. Okay. So that's the first thing. People care about themselves. That's the first thing that you have to understand. And this is, I think, as a woman, it's not as important to understand that because you will always be taken care of as a woman for the most part. All you got to do is basically just be nice and look good, and you will always find someone to take care of you, right? But as a man, it is absolutely lethal to believe that you're going to be loved for like just existing. All right, that's I see so many grown men out there. So many grown men. They're basically complaining that the world doesn't love them for who they are, which is like complete like do the opposite test. When you walk out on the street and you see people, do you love them? Like, do you even care about them? Do you even care about them? Like a complete stranger, no. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. And if somebody falls down, I would help them up. And you know, obviously, I help out people. I'm very friendly. I'm like helping them. But it doesn't mean that I like deep down care and that my life wouldn't go on if they died tomorrow. You get what I mean? So like, how can you not see that from the other side? Most people care about people that generally they benefit from. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're supposed to be of value to the world, especially as a guy. A woman is valuable based on her fertility. She takes care of the next generation. So as long as a woman is fertile, and yeah, as long a woman is by definition, she has her, like, she's already valuable. She's fertile, she's already valuable, and that's fine. She doesn't need to do that much. It's what it is. It is what it is. As a man, you don't have that. As a man, you have to earn that. As a man, you have to build that. You see? There's nothing wrong with that. Just accept it and do what it takes, right? So back to your question. You become a better listener by listening to what's not spoken, and you understand the thought process. You can read between the lines, and you understand human nature. And how to communicate better in relationships? You communicate for the effect. You don't communicate to help yourself. You get what I mean? Most people communicate because they want to get energy out of their mouths or out of their body or out of their system. But they don't consider how that energy is going to be received on the other side. So you can communicate in order to generate a specific effect in the other person. Hi, Frank and Chad. I'm starting a metaphysical occult candle spiritual brand. Any advice? Spiritual product. I would go niche. Find a blue ocean and sell to those people. I feel like we should never expect or depend on these men, though. I'll get my own back. I think that's cultural. Yeah, okay. It's up to you. Get your own back. Get your own back. Are you talking about? Okay, I get it. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, definitely is. Like, women can make their own money, obviously. Of course. Definitely. I think that's cultural. Yeah, okay. So you think it's cultural? Okay. So a woman is not valued for her fertility in certain cultures that we see. I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to say. Frank, that was a very deep and insightful answer. I think that's cultural. Well, I mean, this cultural stuff, and humans are not as different as we might think. Okay, culture has a certain effect, but it doesn't change the fundamental conditions about things. All right, we have genes, and the genes are much more powerful than the culture. Right? So you cannot override instincts using culture. You can set certain cultural standards and behaviors, but they will always be broken. Right? They will always be broken. So, such as, I mean, there are a million different examples that you can give here, but it is a biological genetic fact that people care about resources, or the resources run the world, if that makes sense, for the most part, right? And it is a biological imperative that the species needs to procreate, obviously. So there's a certain dynamic created, right? Certain dynamic. I'm not talking about the modern day where, yes, a woman obviously can build her own business, internet business, and make money, make more than a guy or as much as a guy, whatever. That's absolutely a novelty in our biological history. I'm sure you can agree with that. Our biological setup is not built for a virtual environment where we can literally make millions on the internet. That's Our genes don't understand that. You see what I mean? Our genes, however, determine and dictate our behavior. Yeah. So our genes are essentially adjusted or have evolved in an environment that is very different. And what I was saying is completely in alignment with that. You get what I mean? Your subconscious doesn't understand that. My subconscious doesn't understand it. People's subconscious in general doesn't understand that. You see what I mean? So unless the biological imperative is followed, we will always suffer because, I mean, in order to get the reward of nature, which is a feeling of happiness, in order to get that, we have to fulfill our biological imperatives. Is what it is. How do I know that? How do I know that? People in third world countries that live much closer to nature are happier. Did you know that? And they don't have these things that we have here. Okay, it is, in fact, it's a very very common experience that people have, that from wealthy countries, you know, go and they visit third world countries. It's a common experience that they see those people be much happier and much more blissful, even though they have much less in terms of material objects and wealth. Okay. Now, what does that tell you? There's a connection between how natural, how close to your biological state do you live and your happiness. Okay. So our biological imperatives are what I stated earlier in terms of gender things. I'm not saying that women can't make money. Obviously, they can. In the modern world, yeah, using technology, everybody can make money, including women. But it's not going to make you happy. Yeah, it's going to make a man happy to generate resources and take care of a woman with that, because he's fulfilling his biological imperative. Get it? It's going to make a woman happy to have a man take care of her, and she's able to give birth and like reproduce and stuff like that. That's a biological imperative. Okay. Now you're telling me that's cultural? I don't think so. I think that is a universal constant, since we are a sexually reproducing species, and the sexual dimorphism, which is basically two genders, are universal across the human species. I don't think it's cultural. I think it's genetic and biological. Which, once again, don't misunderstand me. Of course, women can make money. Of course, women can run businesses. Okay, but that's something in the modern world. It has nothing to do with our genetic heritage. Okay. When I'm around people, they naturally offer to help me out most of the time, unless I am in the hood or look broke. Yeah, of course, because you're somebody. You're female, obviously. Our personal characteristics, like the capacity for hard work, for instance, inherited. Capacity for hard work. I mean, what work are you talking about? Are you talking about physical labor or hard mental work? I mean, it's all around. Yeah, I mean, there's a spectrum, right? And along that spectrum, there's a lot of variety, even within families. So yeah, the genes mutate. Okay, there's a lot of mutation. There's also a lot of recombination. That's the reason why we procreate sexually. Sexual reproduction. What is the benefit of sexual reproduction? Because there are actual creatures, animals, that don't use sex to procreate. They just basically what's the word? They clone themselves, right? But the problem is, at that point you have no recombination of genes and you can't experiment. So the benefit of sexual reproduction is you have a lot of experiments. Look at you and look at your siblings. Even though you have the same father and mother, usually you're widely different. Of course, there are similarities, but there will still be differences. Okay, so it's the opportunity for nature to experiment with different versions, right? Now, the different versions exist along a spectrum. Okay, so there's a spectrum, but it's not like the spectrum is not infinitely big. Okay, so there is a small range within there is a lot of variety. People are shorter, people are smaller, people are smarter, people are dumber, people are stronger, people are weaker, blah, 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 blah. And then those different varieties are exposed to the environment. And based on that, we have either reproductive success or reproductive failure. So this is how nature decides what is deemed worthy to keep existing. It's basically sexual reproduction and an evolutionary process which determines who is worthy of survival and who's not. Yeah. So, of course, I'm sure to a large extent, the different capacities for hard work is inherited. Sure. Yeah. But what does that really mean? What does that really mean? It means that nature is experimenting along a spectrum, and maybe it creates a more exploitative personality in person, and that person doesn't like hard work, but they're specialized genetically and psychologically for taking advantage of people more than working themselves. Now, is that going to be a biological advantage? It can be to an extent, but if everybody had that trait, nothing would get done and the whole would suffer. Remember, we're all just individuals in a big biological machine. So whenever we talk about things like that, we have to look at the bigger picture. So the bottom line is yes, but only on a spectrum. There's a limit to how much inheritance plays a role. Yeah. Everything in nature exists within a spectrum. Okay, heartbeat. Let's say the fastest heartbeats, like resting heart rate, could be like let's say 80. Of course, there are faster ones, but let's say the resting heart rate should be 80, and there's 50, right? And pretty much everyone is within that corridor, right? There are outliers, but they're like very, very few people. And everything in nature works like that. Same with IQ, for instance. Most people are within a range, then you got outliers upwards, then you got outliers that are downwards, and most people are within the spectrum, right? Within the spectrum between, I don't know, what's the average IQ? I think the low point is like 85, and the high point is like 130 or something like that. So most people are within that, and of course there are outliers, but they're extremely rare. So people with an IQ above 130 are extremely rare. People with an IQ below 85 are extremely rare. And the same with everything else. Height, blah blah blah. And there are natural limitations, and the same with this stuff. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, yes, I believe there's an inheritance involved in it, but cultural influence probably trumps that. So if somebody is raised to be a hard worker, they will be a hard worker, even if they have genes that make them lazy. Yeah. I hope that's sufficient as an answer. If not, just keep asking. Okay? I realize this. Yes, you can make your own money, but if you want a strong masculine man, you're going to have to let him take the lead. And because if you are masculine and he is as well, you guys will clash. Yeah. Yeah. Or you can get a effeminate guy who's like nice. You can get that too. Get a submissive guy. Right? Like, what's the problem, ladies? You don't have to deal with guys like me. You don't have to deal with guys like me. Just get a nice man who will do what you say and who's submissive. You can get that. A lot of guys are out there, that are like that. So if I was a woman, what would I get? Listen, if I was a woman, I would do it really smart. I would do it really smart. If I was a woman, I would use the shit out of men. I would pretend to be a virgin. Like what? I had 2 guys in my life, whatever, right? But I would lie my way through the world. I would use tears. to get everybody to do what I want. I would probably get a sugar daddy or multiple sugar daddies and be like, yeah, but no touching, nothing, none of that is allowed, blah, 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 right? And then I would learn how to make my own money, but then I would marry a rich guy, divorce him, take everything from him, and then get a guy that is sexy I want to have sex with, but like he does whatever I want to do, right? Like he basically does whatever I tell him to do. That's what I would do as a woman. And in this day and age, ladies, congratulations, you can actually get away with that and still be praised as angels. There's nothing wrong with you. Everybody would still praise you. You know, that's like I just gave you the Kim Kardashian bio, basically. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's essentially Kim Kardashian's bio, and she's always the good girl. She's always the good girl. She can't do bad, right? Now, if a man does that, if a man basically does the following, okay, so what is the equivalent of a guy of that girl? Well, he basically, what would he do? He basically fucks everything that has a pulse. He doesn't give a fuck. He makes his own money. Lies to women, tells them he loves them, but is actually just after they're wants to fuck them. Whatever. Does whatever he wants. Takes no responsibility. Fathers a bunch of kids. Has nothing to do with them. Doesn't want to take care of them. And yeah, and that's it. That's the male equivalent, I would say, right? Obviously, the man would be considered a bad person, right? What an evil guy, right? Like he lies to all of these girls, right? But when Kim Kardashian does it, she's a champion. She's really good. I wouldn't want to be a submissive man, but I would torture him for fun. I wouldn't want to be with a submissive man, but I would torture him for fun. Yeah, I'm sure he would enjoy that too, right? Nope, I realize I don't want that. If someone breaks into the house, I'm not getting out of bed. He will have to protect me. Financial domination. Some men love that shit. That is a fetish, right? That is an actual fetish where men like to pay money to. I wonder what's behind that. I wonder what is behind that. But I guess everything exists, right? Like, I'm not surprised about anything anymore. Yeah. So man, we need to start Saturday Night Gender Fight soon. Where are all the motherfuckers at? Hey, where are those people? Financial domination. That's funny. So what? How does that work? You just you tell them, "Pay me, bitch," or what do you do? How does that work? Let me check. Financial domination. Financial domination. That's findom. They get turned on by you spending their money. Wow. No way. Findom. Okay. A submissive piggy. Finsub. Human ATM. Money slave or pay pig. Gives gifts and money to a financial dominant. Findom. Goddess. Money dom. The dominant person can be female or male, while the submissive is almost always male. Financial domination. will also have been practiced before in individual cases, but it only became more widespread and took on its current form after the introduction of the internet. The relationship between the two parties often takes place solely via online communication. Wow. Besides the paying, it is crucial that the dominant part humiliates the submissive and shows him his supposed inferiority. Some members of the Findom scene claim that women are the superior sex. Accordingly, they demand the introduction of matriarchy and, in some cases, legal discrimination against men. However, it remains unclear whether these are serious political demands or just fetish fantasies. Jeez, the fuck? Wow. Wow, I got an idea. I got an idea. I got an idea. If we got any girls here, you know, I got OnlyFans models, right? Now, if we have girls here that want to be a Findom woman, message me. I'm sure we can arrange that. Where I'm sure there's Findom on OnlyFans too, right? Man, that would make perfect sense. You just need a woman and yeah, really sexy Findom, a 20-year-old Findom woman, and yeah, 50-50. 50% goes to me. That'd be that'd be pretty dope. Hey, that's actually a good idea. I should become the manager of a Findom dominatrix. Obviously, the guys that do that must be right. Like, are those rich guys matrix that do that? That would really surprise me because rich guys are usually good with their money. Probably losers that do that, right? There's this guy that creates digital animated women, and that specific character has an OnlyFans, and she's not even real. Wow, really incredible. Woo! Man, I was looking forward to annihilating today. Where are the Giga chats at? Yeah, man. What's wrong with these guys? Listen, all the men here, okay? We need to start Saturday Night Gender Fight. Are you afraid of the women here? What's going on with you guys? Where's I Valence? Damn, I'm really. Hold on. Let me see who's on. Saturday Night Gender Fight. Because men love pussy whether it's real or not. That's not true. I can tell you that I have never had sex with a like a doll. Never had sex with that. Do I have to show any nipple or coochie on OnlyFans? Everything. Everything needs to be shown on OnlyFans. Like, ideally, the ideal OnlyFans model has zero taboos. None. Zero. Zip. As long as the money's there, she does anything. That's the ideal. The ideal OnlyFans model has no taboos and is money hungry. Okay, so a money hungry nymphomaniac. Perfect. You can have a group of animated women doing OnlyFans. You only have to pay a cut to the person producing the animation. Wow. Okay, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. What's wrong with Saturday Night Gender Fight? What's wrong with these guys? Damn. Nice. Okay. So I'm gonna do it 5 more minutes, guys. Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up in 5 minutes. So, any more questions? Any more questions? Did you hear about the AI rapper who was canceled for being racist? No, I did not. And by the way, girls, hey, men are not here. They're apparently not. Like, they're apparently not interested in doing it. So you have no opposition here. Okay, so drop some bombs. How about that, Anna? I'm sure you got something. I will send you the link so you can see the character. She has a really nice body and even wears nice outfits. Looks so real. She even does the TikTok trends. So we win. Yeah, I guess you win because nobody showed up. Right? Disqualification, I guess that's what it's called. But you still got to drop some bombs, man. Come on. Let's do a Sunday night gender. Then I'm not wasting jokes. Well, all right. My opinion: all men are full of shit except for Frank. We scared the wannabe men back home. Yeah, I'm really disappointed. Bunch of pussies. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna go live soon again. I don't know if I'm gonna make it tomorrow, but we'll see. Okay. I'm gonna go live sometime soon. Okay. Till then, peace out. Hope you got something out of this.